Hi folks, here's an explosive issue that might inspire some left-wingers to think I'm being flip and dismissive, to prejudge me and think I'm cruel and uncaring. It's a big issue that often comes up, and it's got a little nuance this time that is actually quite interesting. And in fact, it's not something about which I'm going to be flip. It actually is an issue that allows us to look into some very deep philosophical questions about human nature and how we treat one another. What is it? Well, a leftist group is ready to release, wait for it, a coffee table book entitled #ShoutYourAbortion. Okay, inflammatory product and title mentioned. Let's get into the details of this, which were provided in part by Raven Clable of The New American. And she writes that the #ShoutYourAbortion movement has crowdfunded a new coffee table book that will include in it, as they say, stories by women who have had abortions and what they call abortion art. Yes. Now, at first blush, this might seem to be very blindingly disgusting for some pro-lifers, but let's take a pause. Perhaps they're being very thoughtful about this. This is obviously a very emotional and difficult issue for women who have decided to take the lives of their unborn children. So, what could this be about? Well, in fact, it's not as thoughtful as we think. Sadly, by their own statements, the people involved with this coffee table book seem to be taking the approach that they want to affect policy, and in pages torn right out of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Karl Marx, and the great underground film Repo Man,
society made me what I am. That's bull.
They're blaming society for their problems. It's absolutely true. Get this. As one contributor wrote, "I do not regret my decision not to carry my pregnancy to term, i.e. to kill her baby. I wish there had been another way. I wish we didn't live in a effed up capitalist society that makes it difficult to survive if you're not wealthy. I wish we lived in a world where Black lives mattered and that it didn't feel like a fist balled around my heart whenever my 13-year-old son is out and doesn't answer the phone. I wish we had a healthcare system that valued Black women's bodies and that I didn't have to worry about dying during childbirth or after. I could have died during my last pregnancy," end quote. Well, guess what, Miss Blame Everybody Else for Your Own Choices? Because you live in a capitalist society, your life and your 13-year-old's life are actually better than they would have been. Your living standards are better, your average chance of life expectancy is better, and your general health is better. In fact, that phone that you want him to call you on is provided to you thanks to the productive output of capitalism, the free market, ma'am. And oh, by the way, your chances of dying during childbirth have decreased because of the medical advances provided by, yes, the competitive capitalist market system, which you are seemingly attempting to destroy. Don't seem to like it, but hey, what can you do? Oh, by the way, the very book that you've been included in was crowdfunded by capitalism. Just a few points from somebody who teaches economics, ma'am. Sorry about that. But there's actually another question, which is perhaps more profound for some people watching, and that is about their position about the human life. And we can take two strands of thought on this. First is about the life itself, and the second is their position on whether or not the government should get involved in this. So I'll just ask one question to see whether or not these folks want to be consistent. They are claiming that abortion is a completely normal behavior. That is what the organizers have actually said. Now, if that is true, I would like to ask them, do they support state-backed police to try to stop people from harming other human beings, or to punish people after they harm other human beings. Because if they do, then we have to contend with what they describe or categorize or define as another human being. And this leads us to some very simple logical questions. And unfortunately, pro-choice people very often avoid these questions when I approach them. Simply put, is a fetus a human being? Is it human? Yes. Upon conception, the fetus is a distinct human with distinct DNA separate from both parents. It is its own entity. Second, is it being? Yes, upon creation, upon the very act of fertilization, the process of life is in motion. That is being. So therefore, the fetus is a human being, by definition, axiomatically. Therefore, if you support laws to protect human beings from other human beings' encroachments on their lives, where, pro-choicers, do you stop? What human beings will be protected and which ones won't? And again, I'm coming from it from the point of view of a person who's talking to someone who wants the state, wants the government to get involved with protecting human lives. Which human lives will you protect? Because those are questions I don't think you're going to address inside your wonderful book where you're blaming everyone else.
I blame society.
And you want to influence policy of the state. If it's a choice to take the life of a fetus who is a human being, is it a choice to take the life of a human being outside the womb? Just a few questions. Perhaps they'll do a follow-up. Hashtag, we missed a lot. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for MRC TV. I'm the person who was not aborted named Gardner Goldsmith.